Okay, perfect. All right, great. So, good morning, everyone. I'm Misty, and I'm thrilled to welcome you all to this session on AI and you, using AI in your daily and professional lives. Whether you're a seasoned educator or just starting your teaching journey or a retired educator, AI has the potential to be a powerful tool in your classroom or even just in your personal life. So over the next 90 minutes, approximately, no more than 90 minutes, we'll explore the exciting world of AI and how it can enhance teach your teaching and empower your students and yourself, not just your teaching. We'll delve into the basics of AI, discuss ethical considerations, and showcase practical tools you can use to create engaging lessons, personalized learning experiences, boost student engagement, and maybe even organize your life just a little bit more. I'm here to answer your questions and share ideas, so feel free to participate actively through the session. An idea that you have that you share may be the spark that someone else needs to hear. And that's what I really learned about participating in the AI collaborative and the other professional groups that I've participated in is that whenever we share our ideas, we really learn from each other and we can build on those ideas to achieve greater things. So let's unlock the potential of AI to create a more dynamic and impactful learning environment for everyone. So in this session, we're going to have about 4 parts approximately. We're going to do an introduction to AI ethics and equity in education. We're going to have a little tool showcase. We're going to do some activities where we create AI generated lesson plans and activities and a simple chatbot. And I promise you, whenever I say simple chatbot, the process of creating it is simple. And so anybody can do that. And you'll find that it might be something that you're interested in using. So, for our introduction, I'm going to start off with a little bit about me. Before we begin, I started teaching basic computer lab classes at a small Catholic school in Holly Springs in 2014. Through this, I learned about the Hour of Code with code.org and started exposing my students and myself to block-based programming. I fell in love with it and wanted to learn more. In 2017, I started teaching STEM at Oxford Middle School and then added computer science and engineering, as well as Cyber Foundations 1 to my plate. Cyber Foundations 1 was my first experience with text-based programming in HTML and CSS. And again, I wanted to learn more. So you might see a reoccurring pattern here. I learned that Oxford High School was going to start its own pathway in software development instead of the joint collaborative pathway that they had with the city school and the county school. And I wanted to learn how to teach that. So I took around 8 programming courses in various languages through East Mississippi Community College in the pilot program sponsored by C Spire that prepared me to teach the pathway of 4 programming languages, including HTML5, CSS, JavaScript, Python, and SQL programming. During that time, I also taught exploring computer science, received my national board certification in CTE engineering, design, and fabrication, and worked with 3 different teams to write computer science curriculum frameworks for the state of Mississippi and the country of Uzbekistan. I am a member of CSTA, the Computer Science Teachers Association, DKG, Delta Kappa Gamma International Society for Key Women Educators, and I am also a Amazon Future Engineer Teacher Ambassador for 2024. So, do we have any questions before we begin? All right, let's jump in. So, what is AI? Artificial intelligence, AI, refers to a branch of computer science focused on creating intelligent machines capable of mimicking human cognitive functions. These functions include learning. AI systems can analyze vast amounts of data like text, images, computer code, etc., to identify patterns, make predictions, and improve their performance over time. This allows them to learn without explicit programming for every situation. And then problem solving. AI systems can approach complex problems by considering various options like analyzing data and proposing solutions. This is evident in areas like medical diagnosis, logistics optimization, and even game playing at a superhuman level. Decision making. AI can be trained to make data driven decisions within predefined parameters. Think of recommendation algorithms on streaming services or chatbots handling customer inquiries. And then also natural language processing, which for short is NLP. AI can understand and generate human language, allowing for more natural interaction with machines. This is seen in virtual assistants like Siri, machine translation tools, and chatbots. So AI's impact is widespread today. We have automation. AI powered machines are automating tasks across industries from manufacturing and customer service to transportation and finance. Personalized experiences. AI is used to personalize experiences in areas like online shopping, social media feeds, and even news curation. Scientific discovery. AI is accelerating scientific research by analyzing vast data sets and identifying patterns that might be missed by humans. And cybersecurity. AI is used to detect and prevent cyber attacks on computer systems and networks. It's important to note that AI is still under development, and I personally think it will always be under development because I don't think there is ever an ending point with developing AI and also with cybersecurity. It's essentially going to be an arms race. So there are ongoing discussions about ethics, bias, and responsible use. However, as of 2024, AI is transforming how we work, learn, and interact with the world around us. So, what about AI for educators? Well, imagine you have a pile of graded exams from previous years. You can analyze them to understand common mistakes and learning gaps. And this helps you design better tests and explanations for future students, right? That's kind of like artificial intelligence. AI refers to machines that can learn from data and perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. So, for our breakdown, we have data, learning, and intelligence. Data, just like you learn from graded exams, AI learns from massive amounts of information. This data can be text, images, videos, numbers, or even sounds. Learning, AI uses complex algorithms to analyze this data. It finds patterns and connections just like you identified common mistakes in the exams. And then intelligence. Based on this learning, AI can perform tasks that seem intelligent. For example, grading new exams based on what it learned from the old ones, or even creating new test questions. Think of AI as a super-powered assistant. It can analyze vast amounts of information quickly, like reviewing all of those exams at once. It can identify patterns and connections that you might miss, and it can use this knowledge to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence, like grading or creating content. But it is important to note that AI does not replace teachers. It's a tool to help educators be more efficient and effective in the classroom. Now, when we think about artificial intelligence, we think it is something that has been recently developed, but AI has actually been around for a long time, whether or not we knew it. For example, here is a timeline of 4 key dates in artificial intelligence history. In 1950, that is the year that marks the birth of the term artificial intelligence itself. John McCarthy, a pioneer in AI research, coined the term at a workshop at Dartmouth College. This event also led to the founding of the field of AI research. And it's crazy to think that that was 70 years ago. um, So in 1966, we saw a significant setback for AI with the publication of the ALPAC report. ALPAC stands for Automatic Language Processing Advisory Committee. The report concluded that AI research had fallen short of its initial ambitious goals, leading to a period of decreased funding and research focus. Then in 1997, we had a turning point with Deep Blue, which was IBM's chess playing computer. It defeated Garry Kasparov, who was the world chess champion at the time. And the victory demonstrated the immense potential of AI and sparked renewed interest and investment in the field. And then recently, ish, 2012. This was the year that we saw the rise of deep learning, which is a powerful AI technique based on artificial neural networks. The development of AlexNet, a deep learning model that achieved breakthrough results in image recognition, marked a significant leap forward in AI capabilities. So, with this new technology, we have concerns like ethics and equity when it comes to education. AI is a powerful tool, but like any powerful tool, it needs to be used responsibly in education and in everyday life. So let's discuss a few key ethical considerations. Bias, for example, AI algorithms learn from data. And if that data is biased, the AI itself can become biased. This could lead to unfair outcomes for students from certain backgrounds. For example, an AI powered grading tool trained on biased data might consistently give lower scores to students from a specific ethnicity in their essays. Um, One documentary that I have watched and that I share with my students is called Coded Bias. It is on Netflix, and it talks about how there was a facial recognition algorithm that was being used to identify um, wanted persons, and it was trained mostly on lighter, fairer skinned individuals. And so it was more able to correctly identify fairer skinned individuals than darker skinned individuals. And so it made a lot more mistakes when it came to identifying darker skinned individuals. And so that's an example of bias. Now, access. Not all schools have equal access to technology and resources. This could create a situation where some students benefit from AI tools while others are left behind. We need to ensure equitable access to AI powered learning experiences for all students. I have a student who paid for uh, the more advanced version of ChatGPT, and so that's another example of unequitable access. If you have the money, you can have the more recent artificial intelligence. And then there are also schools that I've heard of that are completely blocking artificial intelligence. And so if one school is teaching its students how to responsibly use AI, while another school is refusing to teach its students anything about AI, we're going to end up with this gap in ability and knowledge. And then we also have privacy. AI systems often collect student data because they collect data. It's crucial to ensure that the data is collected, stored, and used responsibly, protecting student privacy and following all data protection regulations. So, whenever we are considering an AI tool for the classroom, one of the things that we might want to consider is what they are doing with their data and how they are protecting it. And you also want to consider that whenever you are considering using a tool for yourself. Responsible use of AI. By being aware of these concerns, educators can promote responsible AI use in the classroom. And here's what we can focus on: choosing unbiased AI tools. Look for tools that are developed with diversity and inclusion in mind. Curating data for fairness. When using AI tools that allow student data input, ensure the data is representative and avoids perpetuating biases. Transparency and control. Educators should maintain control over the learning process and understand how AI tools are making decisions. And that might be a little difficult, but one of the things that I've learned is we're continually learning. And with AI coming into the picture, it's going to be one more thing that we continually learn about. And then human oversight. AI shouldn't replace teacher judgment. Educators should use AI tools to complement their expertise and personalized learning, not automate the entire process, because you know your students in a way that AI does not. So, by focusing on inclusivity and responsible AI practices, we can ensure that AI becomes a powerful tool for creating a more equitable and engaging learning environment for all students. If you're interested in why the field of computer science has been predominantly Caucasian males and the equity that surrounds that, I recommend a book called Stuck in the Shallow End: Education, Race, and Computing. And if that is something that you are interested in checking out, I will drop a link to that in the chat. Some of you might find that pretty interesting. It is, let's see if I have it. I took, um, mm, well, I guess that's not going to work. Okay. So this is kind of what it looks like. It's hard. Okay. All right. But it explains where there have been inequitable uh, um, situations surrounding computer science in general, and ever since, the history of computer science. So some of y'all might want to give that um, a, a check on that. So let's go ahead and jump into some practical examples of AI that can benefit you both in the classroom and your personal life. And if you joined recently, I'm going to repost the link to the presentation, because I do have some links on here that you might want to access. All right, so goblin.tools is personalized learning made easy. It's a website and an app. I personally use the app on my phone more than the website. It utilizes AI to help people with tasks they find overwhelming or difficult. It's particularly useful for those with neurodivergent needs, such as ADHD or autism, but can benefit anyone who wants a more streamlined approach to tackling various challenges. Here's a breakdown of its key features. Focus on single tasks. Goblin Tools breaks down complex tasks into manageable steps, making them less intimidating. It allows customization of to do lists and tasks, catering to individual preferences and learning styles. Users can estimate the time required for each task, promoting better time management and preventing underestimation. You can break down larger tasks into smaller tasks, more achievable tasks, making them feel less daunting. And then Goblin Tools boasts a clean and user friendly interface, making it easy to navigate and use. Overall, Goblin Tools is an AI tool designed to simplify task management and promote productivity for those who find traditional methods challenging. A bonus for personal use, if you're struggling to learn a new language or skill, Goblin.Tools personalized approach can help you too. Now, Goblin Tools is one of my personal favorites. I personally get overwhelmed with housework from having an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old and a 40-year-old, my husband, at home. So there is always work for me to do outside of my classroom. When I get overwhelmed with what seems like a simple task, like cleaning the living room, I type it into Goblin Tools, um, and I'll show you an example. Okay, so I need to clean my living room. There are clothes that need to be folded for everyone, toys from both of my children, and everyone's shoes. Okay, true statement right here. Okay, now you have these peppers that are right here, and another way of saying neurodivergent is is using the term neurospicy. So let's say you're not really neurodivergent. You're totally like no ADHD in sight. Okay, but let's say you have a really hard time and you want extra extra help. Okay, so I'm going to click breakdown item, and I chose all of the peppers, and so it breaks it down step by step, and now I have a checklist. So the first thing that I need to do is pick up all the clothes scattered around the living room. Okay, I can handle that. I can just focus on the clothes that are scattered, pick them up, put them in one place, and I can check this off that list. And then separate the clothes into piles for each family member. Okay, I can totally do that. And then I have all of these other things like fold each pile of clothes neatly, put them away. And whenever we think about this, like those are the steps that you take when you do laundry. But if you have a lot on your plate and you don't quite know where to begin, having this list to kind of tell you where to begin makes things easier. So think about using this in your classroom. If a student gets overwhelmed with having it's just a regular assignment. You know where to start for the assignment, but all of the steps the student has trouble deciding what those steps are, you could type that into Goblin Tools. So Susan says, do you know if anyone has used Goblin Tools to help manage studying for MCAT tests for medical school? I don't know if anyone has done that, but I imagine this would be a great tool for that. So let me check this off and delete that. Okay, so let's say I need help studying for the MCAT test for medical school. And we're going to add all of the peppers because it breaks it down into easier tasks. So I'm going to add that, and then I'm going to have it break down. All right. So step one, research study materials, create a study schedule. And I would need help creating a study schedule. So I'm going to break that item down even more. And let's see what it says. Gather materials needed, determine the subject and topics covered, identify your strengths and weaknesses in each subject, allocate time slots for studying each subject, schedule regular study sessions throughout the week, include breaks in the study session for rest and relaxation, set specific goals, and it gives me all of these things that I can do to help me create a study schedule. So this could be a great tool for your daughter, Susan. And so I am going to be going to the Computer Science Teachers Association conference in Las Vegas, and I'm not sure what to pack. All right, so let's see. Check the conference schedule. Okay, I've done that. Determine the length of your stay. Check the weather forecast. That's something that I need to do. Pack appropriate clothing. And then laptop and charger, notebooks and pens, presentation. Luckily, I'm not presenting. Business cards, personal toiletries. Okay, let's break that down because there's always some toiletry that I forget. Okay, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, toothpaste, toothbrush, floss. All right. And so this is why Goblin Tools is literally one of my favorite tools. And so you can download the app. It's not actually an app. I just go to the website in Safari on my phone and I added it to my home screen. And so it keeps this list and I'm able to come back to that list. And that's without logging in. So if we're talking about personal information, the only thing that this website knows about me is maybe my IP address and the information that I'm typing in for the prompts. So the next thing that I'm going to talk to you about is Magic School AI. All right. And I have already logged in, and this is going to be one of the tools that we experiment with. Magic School AI is a relatively new tool, and it is essentially your all-in-one classroom assistant. Teaching can be magical, but it also requires a lot of planning. Magic School AI is your friendly AI companion, helping you create interactive activities, quizzes, and even personalized lesson plans. It also streamlines tasks like grading and report generation, which frees up valuable time for you to focus on what matters most, connecting with your students. Okay. So these are the 4 that I have personally bookmarked as my favorites. And we will look at the lesson plan generator a little bit later. So Google Gemini is going to be the next tool that we talk about. And I have that one in a right over here. Okay. All right. So Google Gemini is a large language model, which means it can access and process information from the real world through Google search. if you're stuck on a lesson plan topic or if you need to find reliable resources, Google Gemini can help you research any subject, generate creative ideas, and answer your questions in an informative way. What I like about Gemini versus Chat GPT, which they essentially do the same thing, is that Gemini is connected to the internet. Chat GPT, um, Chat GPT, you have to pay for the version that is connected to the internet. And I think that's the 4.0. And so Gemini is already connected to the internet. And this is one thing that I created yesterday. So my older sister is an English teacher, and she uses the book The Great Gatsby in her class. So my prompt was create a multiple choice quiz and answer key that is based on the novel The Great Gatsby using this learning standard, which I got from the Mississippi College and Career Readiness um, learning standards, I think for English 4. And so determine the meaning of words and phrases as they are used in the text, including figurative and connotative meanings. Analyze the cumulative impact of specific word choices on meaning and tone, and how the language evokes a sense of time and place, how it set a formal or informal tone. So this is what I got, was a multiple choice quiz, which is what I asked for. Okay, and it gives instructions. Choose the answer that best reflects the meaning of underlined phrase in the text. Now, there are no underlines, so what I would have to do, it gives me 5 questions. I could ask for 5 more questions to have a 10-question quiz, or if I just wanted to use this as kind of a formative check, I could just stick with the 5, but it also gives me the answers. Um, or you could even use this as an activity that they complete in class and then discuss it. And so you can copy this and add it to a Google Doc and then underline the sections that it talks about. Um, and so I haven't verified that all of these are in the novel. So that would be one thing that you would want to do as a teacher, is just verify that the questions that come up are actually applicable to whatever you're working with. Now, I have used it before to create questions to relate a movie, like whenever I teach robotics, after we get done programming all of the robots, it's the end of the semester. Exams are happening and everybody is tired. And so we watch a movie, and it's usually Wally. And so I've used generative AI like this to create 10 open-ended questions, and I throw in all of my standards, and I say something like, write 10 open-ended questions about the movie Wall-E that relates to these educational standards. And so these are deep questions. They are not just like, what was the robot's name? These are deep questions. And so they are actually having to make connections to what they have learned, how it's impacting the world, and that kind of thing. And so whenever I think about, if I had to write those questions on my own, it would take so much mental energy, but I can just have generative AI do it and just verify that the questions that are being asked actually do apply. So that'll be another one that we experiment with later. You'll get to choose between Magic School or Gemini, and you might even have time to access both. The next one that we're going to talk about is Poe. And Poe is something that I recently found out about. It is a great tool for unleashing creativity. It offers a creative way for teachers to integrate AI chatbots into their classroom. And it will allow you to create subject-specific chatbots for specific topics. So imagine a history chatbot students can converse with to learn about historical figures or events. Poe allows you to create chatbots with specific knowledge bases, tailoring them to different subjects taught in your class. And I will show you an example again with my sister and with The Great Gatsby. I told it to, whenever I set it up, I said, I said, you are Nick Carraway from the novel The Great Gatsby. You will answer student questions as if you are being interviewed. So this part I added after I got feedback from my sister. Because all of the responses were essentially the same length, but she said that the voice of Nick had short responses and longer responses in the book. And so I said vary response length based on the topic so that your responses are concise, and don't add anything extra that isn't in the book. Okay, so this is the greeting message. Hi, I'm Nick. What do you want to ask me? And this is what it looked like. Okay, so it didn't say what I previously asked. So let me ask it, what do you think about Mr. Gatsby? And then it gives me just a paragraph. So while Mr. Gatsby is certainly an intriguing individual, he's a man of mystery, known for his extravagant parties and lavish lifestyle. Gatsby appears to be driven by insatiable desire to recreate past. And so you kind of see how this is a more interactive experience. Here it is. This is the one that I did the other day. Okay, so previously it was giving me like 4 paragraphs. Okay, and then I had it change to give more concise responses. But imagine if whenever you created the bot, that you said you are George Washington. And then you continue to set that up so that students can interview essentially George Washington, or even you are F. Scott Fitzgerald. So now students can interview the author of The Great Gatsby. So this tool has a lot of promise. One thing that I did with it, whenever I set it up, I set up, let's see, I gave this one a knowledge base. I uploaded my Exploring Computer Science course syllabus, and I said, you are the teacher's professional assistant and will answer student questions as they relate to class based on what is contained in the syllabus knowledge base. So that's all that I did for that. And you can see it. The first thing I said is, what is my teacher's email? And it said, I apologize, but I couldn't find the specific email address of Miss Whitehead, the teacher, in the provided document. And so I had to take a moment and reflect. And when I checked, my email is not in my syllabus. And so I need to go back and add that, as if students actually read the syllabus, because this is high school. So, so I said, what is the class about? Well, this class is a survey course that introduces students to the breadth of the computer science field. And then the course topics and units covered are these. What classes would you recommend I take after this one if I really like it? This is all information that I have in my syllabus, but do the students read the syllabus? No. So one thing that you could do is maybe give time in class for them to ask questions to the chatbot about the class in order to find out this information. Okay. So boost your lesson plans with AI, Magic School AI, and Google Gemini. So one thing that, let's see, if we go back to Magic School, I have the lesson plan option bookmarked under my favorites. So that way it's easy to get to. I can choose ninth grade. I can put a topic and let's see. One of the topics that I would put, let's see. Okay. I'm going to copy this. We're going to stick with English because I don't want to bore everybody with the computer science. All I've taught is computer science, and so I want to make it a little bit more relatable. So cite strong and thorough textual evidence to support analysis of what the text says explicitly, as well as inferences drawn from the text, including determining where the text leaves matters uncertain. And we're going to stick with The Great Gatsby. And I'm actually going to move this to this one, additional criteria. Okay, and then I'm going to generate. So I set this for ninth grade. It probably should have been 10th grade, but you know. So it gives me an entire lesson plan. Okay, and the objective, students will be able to, that's exactly what I pasted in there. Assessment, students will participate in a group discussion where they will provide examples of contextual evidence to support their analysis of a specific passage from The Great Gatsby. You've got key points, understanding the importance, differentiating between explicit and inferred meaning. So this is essentially breaking down the objective into key points. You have an opening and it tells you what to say, and then introduce the lesson by discussing the concept. Introduction to new material, explain the key points through examples from The Great Gatsby. All right, and then you have a guided practice, independent practice, closing, extension activity, homework, and then you copy that and you put it in a Google Doc and you send it to whoever you're supposed to send lesson plans to, and you look absolutely fabulous. So that's one way to use the lesson plan feature under Magic School. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this again, and I'm going to go to Gemini, and I'm going to create a new chat, write a lesson plan for the learning objective that uses, okay, I'm going to say we are reading the novel The Great Gatsby. So all activities and, well, I guess I have to spell correctly, and assessments should relate to that novel. You get a learning objective, you get a time allotment, materials, setting the stage, digging deeper, a class discussion. So let's say now it gives me a source. Let's say now I didn't think about the time frame. So classes are 90 minutes long. So I can say rewrite the lesson plan for a 90-minute class period. And then it will essentially just create more so that we can take up the 90 minutes. So what we're going to do is I want y'all to experiment with either or both of these tools. Choose either Magic School AI or Google Gemini. Select a standard that applies to your content area. Use the AI tool to generate. Oh, we're going to have to turn that sound off. Okay, let me figure out how to do that. Can y'all hear that clicking? Okay, good. Well, then I'm not going to worry about that. That's just on my end. Okay, we'll mute that. Okay, so select a standard that applies to your content area. Use the AI tool to generate educational content or lesson plans for a specific lesson segment. AI tools can be used also for creating summaries, explanations, and interactive elements. So what do I mean by interactive elements? You can have it generate question prompts or answer student questions. Um, you can use AI to create interactive stories with branching narratives. Students can make choices and experience the consequences, learning about historical events or specific processes in a more engaging way. You can have, if you choose Magic School AI, you can look at the tools that are available outside of the lesson planner. So definitely create a lesson plan. But then you can also look at the worksheet generator, the multiple choice assessment. Let's see, a bunch of different tools that are available in here. So we've got some time on the clock for y'all to work. And whenever you have any question, just you can type it in the chat or you can come off mute and you can ask me and I will do my best to help you. Susan, let me check. I think I'm on. I might not be on the free version. Okay, so free for educators. You get the chat bots built specifically for education. You get educator monitored tools for students that build AI literacy and skills, and that's going to be under. It's not on this screen. It's on the other screen, but I'll show you where that is on the other screen. Um, you get the FERPA, they follow FERPA, COPPA, GDPR, Ed Law 2D compliant, and more. So 60 plus standard based time saving AI tools. So I'm pretty sure that I'm not in a free trial right now. Because I got a message that the free trial ended. Okay, so here's where Magic Student is. Magic Student is, they also have, Magic School has a bunch of training sessions that they offer for free so that you can find out more about all of the things that you can do with Magic School and Magic Student. And so you have custom chatbot options here, and you can make it to where if you want them to create a skit or if you want them to generate a song, that's the only one that they have access to. So they don't have access to everything. They only have access to what you give them access to. I forget exactly how to do that. I'd have to go back through the training. But let's say we chose the song generator, write a song about the Great Gatsby. They would have to give details and everything, artist name and song title. And then we can see an example. Okay, my biology teacher, they give a short synopsis. And then in the style of Taylor Swift, Shake It Off, and then biology class delight. And then it's essentially a song written about this teacher and the biology class to the tune of Shake It Off. So, yes, it does it so fast, and that would take us so much time to do. It really saves time. Um, and there are a bunch of different tools for the students, but if you get one of the other tools that I have bookmarked is an email responder. So if you get a difficult email from a parent, you can paste it here, and then you can say what you want to communicate through your response, and it will generate a professional way of communicating that. And then you can just copy that response. So let's say um, some of the more difficult emails, which shouldn't be that difficult, are along the lines of, why is Johnny failing exploring computer science. He says he turned in all of his assignments. Okay, what do I want to communicate? Johnny chooses to play games during class. He has multiple missing assignments that are visible via Schoology, which is our LMS, and PowerSchool. He has his head down if he isn't playing games on his computer. He also talks too much. Okay, this is not exactly how we want to say this to a parent. Not exactly, okay? We want it to be a little more tactful. So let's see what it is. Thank you for reaching out about Johnny's performance in exploring computer science. After reviewing his progress, it appears that Johnny may be struggling due to a few reasons. He has been observed playing games during class, which may be affecting his focus and productivity. Oh, this already sounds so much better. I should have been using this for a very long time. Additionally, there are several missing assignments recorded on both Schoology and PowerSchool, which could be contributing to his grade. It has also been noted that Johnny tends to have his head down when he is not engaging in playing games on his computer, and that he engages in excessive talking during class. I appreciate your concern and am committed to working with Johnny to address these challenges and support his academic success. If you have any further questions or would like to discuss this matter in more detail, please feel free to reach out. Thank you for your understanding and support. So, whenever really, I just wanted to say, little Johnny is quite the liar to his mother. I can say this instead and not get in trouble for it. So, the email responder is marked as one of my favorites. And then they have one where you can create an email and translate it into multiple languages. So if you have multilingual students in your class where English is not their first language, English is not spoken at home, that might also be helpful for communicating to parents whose first language is something else. Does anybody need a little more time to explore these, or are we ready to move on? All right, so let's move on. We've already had some sharing out. Stephanie said, I used Magic School AI to create a worksheet about cell division and then a test. I can't believe how quickly it generated both. All right, does anybody else want to share what they were able to create? There are tons of possibilities with Magic School, and with Gemini, you're only limited to what you can think of. So Magic School, I think, helps us because um, we might have trouble thinking of what we want to create. But if you already know what you want to create, type, and Magic School doesn't have it, you can type that into Gemini. So Susan used it to find examples of figurative language in certain chapters of the book that you're teaching in literature. That's perfect. That's perfect. So Poe.com. So for Poe.com, we talked about earlier, it's a chatbot, and a chatbot can be programmed to answer student questions about homework assignments, deadlines, classroom policies, or basic subject matter. And this frees up the teacher's time for more complex inquiries or individual needs. So instead of having to continually answer the question, what is my email? What is Miss Whitehead, what's your email address? And that kind of thing, if I actually had it on my syllabus. I could use the chat bot, or I could create a chat bot for a specific assignment because we know that sometimes they don't read all of the instructions. And so we could have them initially go to this chat bot to ask their question and see if the chat bot answers the question first. And then you can also personalize learning support. So you can have it, you can create a chatbot to practice quizzes and drills. Chatbots can deliver personalized practice quizzes based on the student's learning level. This allows students to identify areas needing improvement and get targeted practice at their own pace. And then it's also a great option for vocabulary and concept clarification. Chatbots can be programmed to explain key terms, concepts, or definitions relating to the course material. Students can interact with the chatbot for on-demand clarification, fostering independent learning. And that's one of the things that I've noticed is that students have to be taught how to be self-sufficient. And using a chatbot is one way that you might be able to help accomplish that. Um, Justacia said, as an administrator, I was able to create a professional development on how to teach other educators and teachers how to use AI to create engaging lessons. Yes, I'm so glad. I'm so glad this was helpful. Dr. ETD said I was using Magic School to create activities on a children's book. Yes, that's perfect. So for our next activity, brainstorm a topic you would have a chatbot for. Find any necessary documents that the chatbot might need to use. I've got to pause. I've got to mute that. Okay. So for example, I used my course syllabus. If you have a course syllabus that you want to use in creating a chatbot, have that file ready and then experiment with prompts and responses. So this website is po.com. So one way that I might use this outside of the classroom is for one of the organizations that I'm in, Delta Kappa Gamma. We have questions all of the time. I can add multiple documents or just text that I copy and paste from their international website. I can add all of that as a knowledge source. And then instead of me having to search through each document for the answer that I'm looking for, I can just ask the chat bot and get the answer a little bit more easily, which that really might be something that I do. I haven't done that yet, but it would be easy enough to do that. And so let's see, while y'all are working on po.com creating a chatbot, I think I shall also work on creating a chatbot. So if you have any questions, you can type them in the chat or you can come off mute and we will look at those questions.
Misty, I have a quick question.
Yes.
Are you able to use the chat bot to only respond in questions? Meaning it doesn't provide answers, but it provides questions to help lead students down a particular track.
I would imagine that that would be possible. It's not something that I have tried. So, whenever you give it a prompt, let's see. Okay. So, the prompt that I'll give it is in my programming classes. Whenever students have questions, I usually respond with a question because I don't want to give them the answer. I want them to work through that problem solving and develop those problem solving skills. And so you are, let's see, you are the catbot. Okay. You are a programming teacher. Respond to student prompts in um, only only using questions to help them come to the conclusion on their own. Just a little extra information. The main language we are using is JavaScript. Student prior knowledge is very little. Okay, so I'm not going to give it any knowledge sources. I am going to give it a greeting, so like a starting prompt. So whereas if we were to just paste the code in Gemini, it would potentially fix it and give them the exact code that they need. Okay, well that doesn't help them develop their programming skills for one, but it doesn't help them with their problem solving process. So what seems to be the problem? My program isn't working. And apparently neither is the chatbot. So, okay. Might be my internet. Okay. Can you tell me what exactly is happening when you run your program? When I click start, nothing happens. Let's try to narrow down the issue. Have you checked if the start button is properly connected to the code? Well, what do you mean? Have you made sure that when you click the start button, it triggers a function or a piece of code? So I think it would continually ask questions if you told it to only respond using questions. And
Gotcha. Thank you.
absolutely. And that could be very helpful because whenever I'm in a classroom of 20 kids and we're all working on problem solving, this is this is essentially the conversations we would be having, and so I can monitor students instead of putting all of my focus on one student and then another student and then another student. So this could be a very useful use of a chatbot. Whenever you're ready to move on, if you will just drop a comment letting me know, and then we can move on whenever everybody is ready instead of waiting for the clock to run out. All right. So share out what you were able to create. If you got that far, what type of chatbot would you create for your classroom or for your personal life? I think I would. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was I was about to say I didn't create one. I just watched you create the one I would create though. So that's the type that I would create. Um, and I'm a principal, so it would be for my school.
Yes. Yes, you could, so if another thing, if you had like an agenda for a staff meeting and then you had all of those details and everything, you could load that into the chat bot. And if they had questions, you could have them type it into the chat bot instead of holding everybody and see if they get answered using the chat bot versus answering them for everybody. So, does anybody else have one that they want to share? Okay, so Stephanie said, I didn't get that far, but I can use seeing it for biology lab because there are usually lots of questions and not enough time to answer them all. Exactly. Susan said, I do book report bingo each 9 weeks. I would love to create a chatbot for questions. Yes. Um, loading whatever materials you have for a knowledge base would make that easy. And there's a lot of potential for creating your own chatbot, and it is pretty easy to do through Poe. So now I haven't tried making your own chatbot through Magic School, so that might be something that you want to experiment if you ever have time. Just Stacy has said, I haven't finished, but I was using chatbot for questions for educators to ease their mind about the pros and cons for the use of AI. That's a great one because they have a lot of hesitation about using it, and interacting with the chatbot might help put some of those fears at ease. So one of the things that I want to share with you is this amazing website called AI for Education Prompt Library. I have it open, but that's also a link. So you can choose what types of prompts, assessment prompts, communication prompts, lesson planning prompts, and let's look at one for authentic assessments since that is always a big one. So you could copy the prompt and you can paste it into Gemini or ChatGPT to help you create authentic assessments for your students. So if there is something that you're thinking about, but you're not quite sure how to set up the generative AI. This is a tool that could help you kind of mold that AI to give the response that you're looking for. So, you are an expert teacher and curriculum writer skilled in creating assessments and evaluating student work. Your task is to create a rubric for exploring computer science, grades. I'd probably just stick with ninth grade, even though I get 9th through 12th grade. Or if I wanted to differentiate, I could just say 9th through 12th grade. Class studying robotics. My students are completing whatever assignment in which they give the assignment description. Format a rubric as a chart and include a 5-point scale. And then you could change the 5-point scale and it'll give you that. And so that is linked right here. These are prompts that you can use for inspiration for all sorts of cool things. You can use them to generate content like summaries and explanations, create engaging activities like quizzes and simulations, or even personalize instruction for individual students. It's a great way to get your creative juices flowing and explore new ways to keep your students hooked. Now, remember that these prompts are just a starting point and it's not a set of rigid instructions. You can change them as you feel needed to fit your specific lesson plan, student needs, or the AI tool that you prefer. So, the best part is that you can browse through the entire library, it's free. Many of the prompts come with instructions or examples so you can get a clear idea of how you can use it in your classroom. And uh, are there any questions or takeaways that you would like to share? We're coming to the end of the presentation. And so I want to make sure that if there are any questions fresh on your mind, that I'm able to try to answer those before we end. So if we don't have any questions, if y'all could give some feedback before you leave. We all know how important feedback is. I'm going to put the form link in the chat. And your feedback is going to help me improve future sessions. So please take a moment and fill out the short survey. Thank you so much for coming. If you're on your computer and your phone is free, you can also scan the QR code at the bottom. And if you have the link to the presentation, I am so happy that it was helpful. If you have the link to the presentation, my email address is on the last slide. And so you can email me if you do think of anything, or if you have my number, you can call and I will, let's see. If you want to make a copy of the presentation, you can click this link. It will automatically copy it for you. And so you can also share this presentation. I would change, if this is a presentation that you want to use, I would change, the feedback area. And then double check the links and everything. And I hope that it has been very informative and helpful for you. Going to